What's going on? So the Boston Celtics up take a commanding 3-0 lead, and the series is all but over. I mean, they'll either finish them up Friday or they'll gentlemen sweep Monday. If I'm Dallas, I just fold over like a chair. You're not coming back. Um, you just don't. The best way to describe this series is Boston is like a buffet, and Dallas is like a microwave meal, and that's kind of like what it is. You can't beat all them entrees and options when you don't have the firepower to match. Um, Luka Doncic was pretty average at best, and all his crying and whining got him. And you don't foul out a superstar player in the finals, but then again, all that whining and crying he does came back on him. Kyrie balled, can't get nothing out of Tim Hardaway Jr. Can't get nothing out of the others. And I did where I said everyone talks about how easy Boston had it. Well, Dallas had it easy too. Kawhi Leonard didn't play. James Harden had a couple moments, but they beat them, and then they got to play OKC, who was considered the worst number one seed. No one took Shea. All due respect to Shea and Chad to an extent, but no one took OKC serious. And then they beat a Minnesota team which went too far against Denver. 7 games, but they looked like they were overwhelmed. So you can make the case that if you say Boston had it easy, Dallas had it easy. It's just that Dallas is getting exposed as a cupcake fraud against a far superior Boston team. And when I say that, Dallas is being outcoached, outplayed, out hustled, outworked. They're not even what I would call. They're not. They can't even crack 100 points. They've been held under 100 points in all 3 games. Let that sink in. 89 the first game, 91, 97 the second, and 99 this last game. They're not even cracking 100. So Boston's defense done revved up. Boston's bench done revved up. They're just taking them out. Jaylen Brown's on a mission. Tatum did good last night, but White came up big. I mean, there's been too much of the others, and Dallas can't compensate. And it's been a one-man team, basically, 1.5. Kyrie did show up last night, but they're just overmatched. They're overworked. They just don't. And then the defense and the lack of defense execution, Boston just a better team. Does this mean the Celtics can go on a run? Well, they kind of should because they've been the best team in the East over the past post LeBron James era. Miami went to two. This is the second finals for Boston. They're going to get this chip. So, but as far as being a team that you had to go through, they've been there. This is the first time they're actually going to cap 2 trips to the finals. They're actually going to capitalize. So, and Joe Mazzulla's doing a great job. Let that be mentioned. They got a chance to go back again, unless, of course, the East gets a major shake, which i.e. Philly, i.e. Milwaukee, i.e. New York. One of them 3 teams get a shake up, or Miami, or Cleveland, or Orlando. But the difference, the gap between the Celtics and everybody else is pretty wide because you have to have the parts. I think Milwaukee fundamentally has the parts, but it's not executed properly. And they got to get defense. They got the right components. Philly should be in that mix. Miami's feisty. The Pacers are a young team of talent, but does it fit? So it's a lot of questions. So Boston, by default, might be in the same predicament for another year or two, at least run. It's not the reason why the Celtics ain't glorified is for a few reasons. Let me get to them. They ain't got no white play on the team, or they got what we call a guy that they media hyped in Tatum, but Jaylen Brown's actually the goods, but it's not going where it should. So it's kind of like, when Paul Pierce was the face of the Celtics, there was no questions asked. You didn't think as great as KG was, it was coming through Pierce. This is a little bit blurry. But in their defense, they're workmanlike in the Celtic tradition of how they beating you, and they're playing at a high level, and they're versatile, and they got a team. So, but it sets up for interesting theater next year. And you might have heard it here first. If the powers that be have it in their way, they're going to want a Lakers Celtic finals. You can almost see that this is what they want. Setting it up for breaking the tie and this nonsense, which makes the league look suspect as all get up. But the Celtics are But good luck with the Lakers. They need a lot of help over there. And I'm just saying that because that's what they would dream of. But they're only like the fifth or sixth best team in the West. The Celtics, no doubt, are, if not the best team in the whole league, they definitely own the East. I'm not even gonna say best team East. I'm gonna say they own the East, which I don't like to say, but I gotta concede that they're that good, and they got a chance to run it back at least 2 or 3 more times before their wheels come off. And Al Horford, he's a young 78, so he gonna be there for 3 or 4 more years. And they got the right pieces, the right parts. They're well coached. Give Joe Mazzulla his dap because he was in um, Udoka's shadow for a while, but not no more. Not anymore. They look like they unleashed. They've unleashed their dragon. So, and it's so for Dallas. Jason Kidd can regroup and retool. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to win Friday, but right now, I don't know what else they can do because they got to crack 100 points before we even have a discussion, and they can't even do that. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another shitter if you like them. Peace.